Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Lions Den Sport interview today. I'm very pleased to have on Jose Shorty Torres. Finally, Jose, you finally made some time for us, brother. How are you, first of all?
Well, I appreciate you doing that for me because I know we're overseas, so the time difference is crazy, but I'm doing well. For people who don't know, immediately after the fight, I had to I had to leave the next day at 12 in the afternoon. The fight ended pretty much at midnight. I had to go to the hospital to get sutures, and I'm like, oh, I can't really celebrate and enjoy time with my team, my family, and just Colombia in general. So I'm like, okay, let me go to the hospital. Go to the hospital, have to wait there 2 hours just to even check in, and they go, oh, sorry, the plastic surgeon's not in because it was so deep that I couldn't get stitches. I actually needed sutures. So when I ended up taking a knee in the first round, it missed me, but it hit the skin very, very well to where it cut me. It's kind of like an elbow. It slashed you, but it didn't like hit you like that. And so the knee ended up cutting me. I didn't know this in the fight, but after the fight, I'm bleeding. And they go, okay, well, you can't get stitches. It's too deep. So you have to go to the hospital. I'm like, okay, wait there 2 hours. They go, plastic surgeon's not here. He'll be back at 6:30. I'm like, well, that's in 3 hours. Okay, well, let me go back to the hotel. Let me pack my stuff and then I'll come right back because I won't have any time to do anything else. So I went to the hotel, packed, went back, got there at 6:30. Then they go, hey, the plastic surgeon will be here now until 8:30. And I'm like, okay, cool, man. Well, I still haven't slept, I haven't eaten, I haven't done anything after the fight. I'm like, all right, cool. Finally, plastic surgeon sees me, makes a couple jokes, stitches me up, or gives me sutures. Then I had to go immediately back to the hotel, grab my bags, went to the airport, flew from Bogota all the way back to Chicago, got home around midnight. So pretty much a very long, long flight back home because of all the layovers and all that stuff. Get home, and it's my mother's birthday. Now, I've already scheduled some called Armed Forces Entertainment
Yeah.
months ago that I was like, you know what? I'll be healthy after this fight. And then, I'll go on this tour. It's a 2-week tour for the military, US military in different countries. And I get home, say hello to my mother for 3 hours on her birthday, and then I leave for another flight. And then I went
Oh,
to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. I went to Honduras, and I went to Greenland. And Greenland's a place I never expected to go to. And if you ever watched Mighty Ducks 2, the girl from Iceland has a phrase: Iceland's made of green, and Greenland's made of ice. And 100% Greenland is made of ice. It is hilarious. It is awesome. But I just got back, and it's now 3 weeks or around 3 weeks since the fight, and I'm finally able to relax a little bit. And coincidentally, tomorrow I leave again to Denver to do a video shoot for the weekend with Curtis Blade. And to jump out of a plane with the Red Bull guys. So I'm literally doing a lot of crazy stuff, and I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So I'm well, a little afraid, but I'm well. How about you?
you're jumping out of a flight. We're jumping out of a flight. Let me get this right. What are you doing, man? What is going on with you?
So
And I'm
I don't
glad
I
you're
don't
taking your time out to do this with us, by the way, as well. Thank you for
Oh,
that.
for sure, man. I have the time. I always say if I can, I will. But the Red Bull guys are doing something with like Alex Hernandez, Brandon Royval, and they're like, hey, you're gonna be here. Do you wanna jump out of a plane with us? They're skydiving. Now, I've been skydiving before. This will be my third time, and I'm like, okay, like I'm never excited to do it, but I'll do it. It's an experience. But I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it. But it's the Red Bull guys. And if anybody knows,
Yeah,
Red
man.
Bull sponsors some really, really crazy stuff where they jump from space. They've, done these crazy skydiving things. So I'm just like, I'm just nervous of like what are they gonna do? What's something I know we're gonna jump out of the plane, but what's something so special about this event? And that's what I'm excited about.
Have they not told you anything about the event?
No, no. But also, I don't know if you remember the 2000 show Rob and Big, where it was Rob Deerdeck and his big security guard, and they would do a reality show of just kind of living life, doing whatever. And they were so in sync. So me and Curtis Blades, a very good friend of mine, he's I believe, top three UFC heavyweight. Him and we've been really good friends since high school. We always messed around. I have a videographer that's gonna film us going to a theme park. I'm gonna pick on him. I'm gonna tease him. We're gonna have all this fun. He's the big giant like scared bear. I'm the like small energetic guy that's like, let's go do this. Come on, pulling his big hand, and he's like, I don't want to do any of this, man. So we're gonna be filming that. So that this weekend's gonna be fun, adventurous, wild. And since I got purple hair, I might as well, be different.
Do you know what? I was going to touch base on that. I don't want to go too much onto it, but it seems like you've gone a bit crazy since your fight, man. You had black hair. I swear you had red hair as well, and now you gone blue hair. Am I right? What's going
No,
on? What's going on with the hair?
so okay, so leading up to the fight, an artist wanted to make a logo of me. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we made t-shirts, and I love Dragon Ball Z, and Vegeta just made created a new form called Ultra Ego. So he has purple, spiked hair. And I'm like, man, that's awesome. Plus, my dad, the color that reminds me of my father is purple because his gang colors are black and purple in Chicago. So automatically, a lot of my stuff growing up was purple. So I was like, you know what, man, I've always wanted to dye my hair. I haven't gone bald yet, so I might as well use it before I lose it. Let me dye it purple because the artist made the logo of me with purple hair, and everyone's like, dude, you should do this. That would look cool. I'm like, you know what? Let me do it. And so I do purple hair in Colombia, but the lady only did the top, which I kind of wanted the whole thing, but I was like, you know what? Let's do the top. Let's start off small. I had the purple hair. I thought it looked cool. It was different. And plus, and Nkosi kind of inspired me because he's always dyeing his hair every fight. So I was like, you know what? Let's have some fun with it. Then after the fight, they give you, which I have right now, I'm going to do this after the shoot, is like a shampoo that you put on your hair for 10 minutes, which is the color of the hair to make it vibrant again. So the color doesn't fade and it'll last a little longer before you have to re-dye it. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I have this shampoo, but I went on the military tour and I forgot to pack it. And so I'm like, oh, my hair will be fine for 2 weeks. I'm in the ocean. I'm, doing all these crazy things with water that my hair is getting wet. So you always have to wipe it. The dye is slowly coming off. And now my hair was pink. And then it was like a magenta. Then it was like a reddish, like rose gold. And then it pretty much became blonde by the time I got back home. People were like, dude, you went through like 10 different hairstyles. The
Yes.
funny thing about that was I had different outfits for this military tour. So I wore a red shirt, I wore a yellow shirt, I wore like a salmon peach or beige shirt, like all these different colors. And people were like, dude, you were literally matching your shirt to your hair, and it's hilarious. And it was just good coincidence. I was like, huh, all right, I'm gonna run with this. And I had a lot of fun, got back home, literally first day, got a haircut and re-dyed it. So a little brighter than the one I'd like, but hey, you noticed me, that's all that matters.
Stand out, mate. You would definitely stand out. So it's looking good. It's looking good on
Thank
you.
you. It's funny. I just bought for me, after every one of my fights, I like to go to a jewelry shop, and I that's my little like reward to myself. I like jewelry, so it's my reward. I'm gonna spend this much amount of money, cool. And I've never been into like choker like necklaces, and they're like, oh, choker necklaces are nice, you do this, something different. I was like, you know what? I'm kind of going through this like little emo phase, with purple hair. I'm wearing a little black. I was just like, all right, I guess I'm buying some choker necklaces too. Why not?
I'll do it a bit. And how was the military 2 weeks that you're doing? What was all that about? Was it
It was
of
cool, man. So Armed Forces Entertainment, it's a company that hires a bunch of athletes from around the world, or at least in the United States, that wants to go and support the military. For me, my coach was a Marine Recon, my manager, Marine, served 2 tours in Somalia, and then a bunch of other family members. And I do stuff for veterans here in Chicago with a group called Merging Veterans and Players. So with me, I was like, you know what? I've done this before back in 2016. Titan FC is kind of rounding out some people. I was their 2 division champion. So they're like, hey, do you want to do this tour with us? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So immediately after the fight, went to Guantanamo Bay, went to Honduras, or one of the cities in Honduras, and then went to Greenland. And man, it's crazy when you start to go to different places because like Guantanamo Bay it's just a gated community because it's in Cuba, and but you don't go into Cuba. It's literally just like a small American base, and then it's just a fence surrounding it. So it's almost like a TV show community where you do the same thing over and over every single day. Nothing's different. You have one McDonald's, which I thought was hilarious, and it's just different ethnicities there. All Americans, but then you have different ethnicities like Jamaicans and Filipinos and other people that are serving the military there. So it was just out of the box for me because I'm like, wow, you guys do the same thing every single day. You can't leave or you can't leave this little base.
wow.
There's only one boat that goes in and out. There's only one plane that goes in and out, so it's very controlled. Same thing when you went to Honduras. Honduras, you get to go around the city and live a little more of a free life because it's army. They do more like public events there, like, oh, there's a wildfire, okay, we're going to take care of it. But then you go to Greenland and it's more Air Force and SpaceX, and you're just like, this is different. Like there's nothing here. Like they have no gates whatsoever. And I was like, hey, you guys don't protect the base at all? They're like, dude, this whole thing's full of ice and mud. and there's polar bears around us. Like, you want to kind of come and raid us, and we catch you, you're gonna have to run away, and you're gonna run away to nothingness because there's no other city for miles. And I'm just like, huh, this is very different, very, very creepy and scary. And so, man, it's just, it's really cool to meet some of the people because they do the same thing every single day. So they're like, man, we're happy that, I don't care who you are. Like, obviously you're a fighter, you're a champion, we're ecstatic, but like, we're just happy to meet different people and get different types of things to do every single day. And especially MMA, it's always fun to roll with the guys, teach them some stuff, and just have really deep conversations.
How did you get involved in the MMA yourself? When did that start?
So I started
The
karate
Bruce
when I
Lee
was,
posters in the back and stuff. I take it he
yeah,
had a big influence on you, right?
I started karate when I was 4 years old, and my dad, my dad was a gang leader. He wanted me to learn how to fight. That was the big thing, and he was also naturally aggressive towards myself, my brother, my mother. So I wanted to learn how to fight to defend myself, my family, and because I watched a lot of Spider-Man, Power Rangers, all these different things. I was like, man, I want to fight evil and be the good guy. I want to just be that. I want to be Goku growing up. And little I know, I ended up being pretty much Teen Gohan, where it's like, I'm stronger than my father, but I don't want to fight. That doesn't excite me. I have no clue why. I'm too much of a gentle soul, so I'm definitely in the wrong sport. But um, I used to just grow up fighting, and when I turned 16, I joined Combat Do, where I officially just got my black belt during the fight. Uh,
Congratulations.
Thank you. 15 years later, which is crazy to say. But being able to, join Combat Do, it ended up, saving my life and kept me off the streets because I was slowly getting into gangs and hanging out with wrong people and staying in the neighborhood. If that's what we like to say, compared to, and you're in the UK, it's like, some neighborhoods that, man, those people never leave and they're always there. And it's like, man, this has been 10 years and you're doing the same exact thing. Like, this is stuff we did back in high school or when we were in college, and you guys are still doing this. Okay, so for me, it got me out of the neighborhood, got me a college degree, helped me get into college for free. And I ended up just listening to my coach and started winning belts and winning tournaments and winning worlds, and then got signed to 10FC. So I've been doing this for now 27 years.
Wow, 27 years. And you had a small stint in the UFC as well, right?
Yeah, so I only had two fights. I think I was signed technically for about 6 months. UFC and I, before, we just didn't have the best relationship, where they were trying to give me a lot of ultimatums, a lot of forced fights, like very last minute fights when I had a broken hand or torn MCL. And it's like, guys, I can't fight. Like, I legit can't fight until this heals. But at the time they were also cutting a lot of the flyweights. They just weren't really excited about the division. And when I lost my last fight, I started making like mental health videos about myself because at the time I don't think I lost for 8 years, so it was different, And I had other things in my life that I was going through, so I was like, you know what, let me be a big brother to people. If I'm going through it, I'm pretty sure some other people have gone through it before, or might go through it, so let me try to help. And then I saw DJ, and I was making videos of like nervousness, confidence, this, that, and how to take a loss. And then DJ got traded to ONE FC, and Ben Askren came in, and I remember making a whole detailed video about that, and it got shared by bjpenn.com, MMA Fighting News, MMA Junkie, all these big platforms, and UFC didn't like it. And they're like, whoa, 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 we're not cutting the division. I was like, I'm not saying you were. I just think you are, because business wise, this is what I see and this is what makes sense. And this is what I've heard from Dana White and all that stuff. I'm just putting out there what I believe might be true. It's an assumption. It's not an accusation, it's an assumption. And they assumed I was talking bad about them. And then the next week, they're like, you're right, we are cutting the division. And then the following week, they cut me first. And I'm like, why are you cutting me? I have a 4-fight contract. You can't do that. They go, well, we can cut you after you lose. And we don't like your first performance. You got lucky. And I'm like, well, when you give me 2 fights in 2 months, yeah, I think I'm lucky I made weight for both of them, nevertheless fight. So you never really gave me a chance, and well, they didn't like me, and I'm pretty sure I'm blacklisted from the promotion. So they definitely don't like me. But I also don't want to be part of a promotion that takes advantage of their fighters. I mean, you look at Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell had a very good career, and then they forced him, and he talked about taking ultimatums to have to take a fight, and then he lost. And that was the same thing with me for both of my fights. I remember my debut. They go, okay, Shorty, 9 days, you have to make this fight, make weight. I was like, okay, well, I'll do it, but if you don't mind me asking, because it's a lot of weight, I think I had to lose 12 kilo in 9 days. And I was just like, I'm gonna do it. And I did it and I made weight, but I was like, if you don't mind me asking, what if I miss weight? They go, oh, we'll cut you. I don't care if you win by a dominant performance, we'll cut you. I was like, but last week, Mackenzie Dern just missed weight by 7 pounds and she beat Amanda Bobby Cooper by a knockout, but she was 7 pounds over. And you 100% let her in because she has the Dana White privilege, you know? So for me, I was like, that's not fair. And I was always calling stuff out. I'm assuming that they didn't like that.
Quite interesting about UFC because it gets a lot of bad. It's starting to get a lot of bad press about fighters' pay, fighters'
Mhm.
well-being. Cutting weight is, there's a lot of research that hasn't gone into UFC yet. In boxing, there's a lot of research that there are negative effects about losing weight, but we tend to lose.
20 or 30 pounds, which is,
Yeah,
I don't know what it is in stones and, stuff like that. But
stone and a half, stone two, and you guys, you do crazy, crazy cuts, man. Like
mhm.
you come at you look like a different person after just when you're about to weigh in.
I know at flyweight when I was fighting Ali Bagotinov, I keep a log, a journal of everything I do when I cut weight because I just want to see from the last performance like where I was and how far I was and how my body, because I'll even give like a mental journal of like, oh, I'm not feeling the best, blah blah blah. And man, I can tell you when I was getting ready for Ali Bagotinov the last time I was trying to make flyweight, my body just wasn't cooperating with me given I tore my LCL during the camp. And I remember I couldn't even run and I was still trying to fight because I'm like, it's Ali Bagotinov, like he's a legend. I want to fight him, this, that. It's an honor. And because of my injuries, I couldn't cut weight anymore. Or I was limited on cutting weight, but also because of me cutting weight, it ended up tearing my LCL because I had to overtrain and do the wrong things, to overexert myself to get down at a certain weight. And I was like, my college coach used to tell me this. He goes, if you're more worried about cutting weight than you are wrestling, then you're at the wrong weight class. And that's 100% what it was. I was focusing on weight 3 weeks beforehand compared to, fight week. Fight week, that's when you focus on the weight cut. But don't, and even honestly, a couple days, but don't worry about the weight because then you're not focusing on the fight. You're more like, oh, I need to do this. I need to work hard. I need to wear a sweatshirt every time I train. I was doing the wrong things and I was hurting myself. And that now getting older, I was like, I'm just gonna stay bantamweight. I might be a small bantamweight, but I get to perform at my best. And one of my favorite fighters is Manny Pacquiao. And if he can do it, then I can do it. Same thing with Frankie Edgar fighting at lightweight. Super small guy, but he went toe to toe with some of the best. And if he can do it, I could do it.
I'm glad you brought Money Pacquiao because he's one of my favorite fighters. What a
I
fighter!
hope I hope to meet him one day. The crazy thing is he follows me on Instagram.
Oh, does he?
He follows me and his foundation follows me and I love him to death and I would love to meet him one day. I met his son at Wildcard Boxing Gym, but I've never got a chance to meet him and that's all I want to do before I die is just meet him.
I'm sure that'll definitely happen, man. I'm sure you can reach out to his son. He'll sort something out for you.
Yeah.
Especially if he follows you, I'm sure you can reach out to him and meet him one location, man.
I'm always nervous to reaching out to him like, "Hey, buddy," because I feel like somebody else is running it or he's like, "I follow this guy." Unfollow. So I'm gonna let it go. I'll just put comments here and there. Yeah.
Put it out where it is. But more recently, you're obviously with Brave FC at the moment. And congratulations. Before your fight, you recently were Bantamweight champion of the world, man. Congratulations on that. First of all, before I go into questions, how does it all feel now being champion?
Man, I hate belittling it because I do. Is the fact of like it doesn't do anything different for me. I have the belt. My mentality was I was always champion. I was always gonna be champion, and that's how it is. Me, I want to fight the best, and if so happens to be for the belt, awesome. If it so happens just to be for a show and not for the belt, then awesome. I just my job is to fight. My job is to fight whoever Brave tells me to fight next, and that's it. For me, I'm happy I could say I'm champion. But I've never been, somebody asked me, he's like, "Oh, you need another belt." I was like, "Oh no, there'll be more belts. I'm gonna win more belts. I'm not worried about that. I just want to do as much as I can, and fight as much as I can before my career is over, and hopefully I have as many belts to make, Canelo and Manny Pacquiao jealous."
Would you consider going up in weight as well? I know you. What are you like 5'4", right? Am I right?
Yeah, I'm
Five.
I'm 5'4" and I weigh about 160 naturally, give or take. So
Oh,
that's about like 72 kg, give or take 72 and a half. And I don't know, again, I don't know what that is in stone. That's a whole different system that you guys got. But the fact is, for me, I I just want to fight some of the best. And if it so happens that one day I there's a really good fight for Brave or any other promotion, or I hope Brave does something where they do cross promotions like Bellator and Ryzen, where they have champion versus champion. I would freaking love that because I want to show I am one of the best in the world. And if one day I have to bump up to fight, the featherweight champ, dude, that'd be great. I was the double champ in Titan FC, and I want to do that hopefully one day for Brave. I just definitely don't want to go back down to flyweight.
yeah, man. What's the weight for flyweight? What's the weight limit for that?
It's 57 kg or 125 pounds.
That's an extra £10. That's a lot in it. That's a lot of
Well,
weight.
see, the fact is, like, I could do it. I just really, really, really don't want to. And I can tell you this, like, what's that saying? It's like, if you go to work and you hate it, then it's legit work. And if you go to work and you're happy and you want to do it, it's like, then you're just getting paid to do stuff you love. So for
Mm.
me, going down the flyweight, it's like, I don't like doing this. I hate my life right now. I have so many bad thoughts and I hate everyone around me, even though it's not their fault. It's like,
Yeah.
so,
Do you know what? There's an emphasis of you have to keep cutting weight to be at to perform at your best level. But I think the more science is coming out, I think the more natural you make the weight, the more stronger you feel on fight night. I think
mhm,
slowly, people's approach will change to that and thinking instead of thinking for the short term, you start thinking long term about long term health a lot
yeah.
more. And I hope that changes it in sports like combat sports, because fighters need to think about not just the now, then you think about the future as well, right? And it seems like your sort of mental approach, even though you could make that weight and the harm that you could do to your body, making the weight naturally, you feel more stronger. I think that's something that you're probably going towards now, right?
It's funny. I have an old friend that would say, because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it.
Mm,
And it's just like, oh, what? And a lot of it was involving cutting weight, and she would always bring that up. And I'm just like, now years later, I was like, damn it, you were right. That was, huh? Because I would always force myself because I'm like, I can do it. It's okay. I can do it. Or even like trying to help people. I would spread myself so thin, helping so many people that I would forget to help myself. So it's like because I can do certain things doesn't mean I should do it. I always say if I can, I will, but it has to make sense, in the logical way of like this is gonna work out and it's gonna be for the better, not just for you, but also for me and for us in general. So for me going to Bantamweight, yeah, the fights might be tougher and they might be harder, again, a 5-round war, but were you not entertained? And that's the thing. It's like you got to see me compared to one of my performances in the UFC, or actually both really were last minute weight cuts to where people were like, dude, that wasn't you in there. I was like, oh no, I know. Like the first fight, I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot I got to fight. And then the second one, I was like, I don't want to do this, but I took an ultimatum and I had no choice. And I was like, okay, I just want to go home. I don't care what happens here. And then I end up being TKO and losing for the first time in 8 years. And I'm like, and even still regrettably today, it's like it's not, I don't care about losing. I grew up losing. I'm a shorty, I'm a small guy. So it's like I kind of got used to getting beat up. The fact is I rather lose in my best. And that one I lost in my worst and going, I could have done this, I should have done that. And we all have those thoughts, back in the day. Oh, I could have done all these things. And it's like, it always eats at you. So for me, if I'm gonna lose even at bantamweight, I'd rather lose in my best and go, hey man, you were just a better man. Congratulations. I got more work to do. I'm healthy. I'm fit. Let's do it again, hopefully someday soon. Compared to at flyweight, I was just like, I don't even want to be here. And if, let's say, win or lose and there's a rematch, I'm like, I got to do this again. I don't want to make weight again. This
mm,
sucks.
yeah,
So, yeah, it made life very unhappy.
it did. It did. Well, I need to talk about your championship win recently at
Let's do
Break 73. There's been some controversy around it.
it. Hmm.
I'm sure you're quite aware of it as well. I'm sure you've heard some of the stuff that has been said. Obviously, you won a decision against Nkosi over a 5-round decision. Um, some people have said you were lucky to get the decision. One person I had interviewed recently was Eliza Cambanza, a teammate of Nkosi, who said again you were lucky to have that victory. Some of the other people have said that. I want to get your thoughts on the fight first of all, if that's okay. How you felt the fight went, whether you think that you within you won the fight, or do you reckon you tell us what you thought how the fight went first of all?
For me, I knew I lost the first round, and in between every single round, I would look at my team or my family that was outside the corner. I'm like, yeah, no, like how did I do? And some of them are like, anytime they did this, I'm like, okay, cool. Then I lost a round. That's the way I'm gonna look at it. And so the first round, I was like, yeah, no. They're like, yeah, I was like, okay, cool. I
Straight
lost
away,
that
yeah.
first round because I started so slow. I was like, okay, cool. That was the best he could do. So after the first round, it just gets easier for me. Given that little cut, I'm like, God damn it, like where am I bleeding from? Because I had no clue. I thought my eye was cut because I cut this 3 weeks before the fight. And it was just that knee that grazed me, but also cut me really bad. I was just
You didn't
like,
see it I didn't see any of that during the fight.
yeah, I ended up having
It must-
sutures. It was just a knee that didn't hit me, but it hit like the bottom of my chin that like slid through. So there was no like impact. It was just like a nice slice. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, oh, that was a close one, but I'm fine. Then I don't know where I see blood. I'm like, who's bleeding? Like I haven't hit him. I haven't even taken him down yet. So but after the first round, second round started, I'm like, okay, cool. It's getting a little closer, so I can see that one going either way. And I was like, I thought I won the round, but sure, cool. Maybe he won the round. And after that, I was like, all right, he gassed out on me. Cool, let me just push the pace a little more. And then third round, I put him in trouble. Fourth round, I put him in trouble. And fifth round, I put him in trouble on the ground, from chokes to submissions to arm bars, stuff like that. So when I look at it that way, I was like, any of the stuff he did to the feet, there was for sure 3 strikes that landed. There possibly could have been more. I know there was for sure two. Let me rephrase that. There was 4 strikes that landed. 2 jabs that were good. That was like, that was just me being lazy. There was a teep to the face that kind of like slid up, and it was just his toes, and I was like, that was my bad. And then there was a teep to the body that I remember going like, oh, that one guy got through. I need to move. I need to do certain stuff. But after that, it was just pop shots, little knees in the cage, a lot of like throwing little punches that my hands blocked. Yeah, he was the aggressor, and yeah, sometimes he did take the center, and his length definitely helped. He kept distance very, very well, and that's something I admired from him. And I was like, okay, this is a little harder to get in the inside than I expected, but in general, I put him in danger majority of the fight. And if you look at besides the cut, there wasn't any point of that fight where he put me in danger or goes, oh wow, he almost beat Shorty right there. It's like, I don't recall that. Maybe I got hit too hard, but I don't recall that. I ended up putting him in 2 chokes. I put him in 2 arm bars. One of them at the fifth round where or let me rephrase that. I wanted him to tap because I don't want to break someone's arm, and I'm just like, dude, come on, tap. Just don't. I'm too
Did you go with
merciful. And
that mindset that you don't want to break? Is it you actually
I
went?
don't that this is why I always say I'm in the wrong sport. I don't like I had Isradine in an arm bar for my last fight, and I'm just like, dude, just tap. And he keeps on moving. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're gonna tear your stuff. Like, I don't want to break someone's arm. I don't want to, like, yeah, cool. If I knock you out, like, you're gonna wake up, it was just a good shot, you'll be fine. Honestly, when you get knocked out, you don't feel it, you don't remember it. So it's like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna, try to really, really hurt somebody. But when it comes to joint submissions, that scares the hell out of me because I'm also very good at them. But I'm like, dude, tap. And that's why like I let go and I was like, oh, let me see if I can get the triangle. And then he just postured up. I was like, okay, well, I ended the fight on bottom. But in general, there wasn't any point of the fight that he put me in danger. And I had 3 rounds that I put him in danger every single round. So I'm like, okay. Plus, when you have takedowns and you have top position, when you have control like that, I thought I won, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I can see him winning the second one possibly. So okay, cool. Then I still have 3, 4, 5. I didn't think it should have went to a split decision. Some people are going to say whatever they say, and in general, it is what it is. But when you look at the strikes landed, yeah, he definitely landed more strikes in the feet than I did, but a lot of them were to my hands. He was just more active. So it is what it is. I'm not a fan of controversy, so in my head, I just be like, man, I want to do this again just to say I won more dominantly in this and that. But also, I don't believe he deserves an immediate rematch. It was for the vacant belt. If he was the champion and I beat him, okay, hey, maybe there was a rematch clause. He wanted to fight again. Okay, hey, man, you were the champion. I can respect that. Let's do it. But you have other contenders that are waiting in line. You have Ali fighting this weekend. You have, Valley Morad, who just won against another South African. So it's like these guys are ready in line and they want to fight too. They want to get paid. They don't get paid until they fight. So it's like I can fight Nkosi again. If Brave really wants that, sure, they can build up the controversy of it because who doesn't like, reality show? Sure, but him and I are very respectful towards each other. So we're not the smack talk. If the promotion wants to do it and the people, our teammates want to talk smack to each other, hey man, go right ahead. But our job is a fight, and at least my job is to get there and get the job done. And that day, I won. If they said I lost, I definitely would have been upset because I would have had my reasons. But again, I could have won by knockout, and there's always people that are going to say, "Oh, you got lucky. It was a lucky strike." So for me, as long as I went home with the belt and I can say I'm champion, then it doesn't matter what my mindset is. Doesn't matter what Nkosi or anyone else's mindset is. It mattered what those three judges were, and two of them thought I won.
So you very nicely you answered about the rematch. I did have to ask you about that. If Brave Nkosi felt that we should do an immediate rematch. I know you said there's other contenders, and we'll touch base on that in a second. Would you feel comfortable going straight into the rematch next?
I do want to get one more fight at the end of the year. I'm young and healthy. We're supposed to fight in March, then April. Now, we fought in August. So me, I'm 31 years old. I want to be as active as possible. So whoever I fight at the end of the year would be great. If it's Nkosi again, well, I'm better the second time through. For people who don't know, I start slow. So my first round is usually the worst, and I just get better and better because I know what you're gonna do now. Plus, you're getting tired. So I definitely know what you're gonna do now. And with me fighting anyone twice, it's like it's just gonna be worse for you. So hey man, if Brave, and again I say this in general, if Brave wants to fight again, then cool. Hey man, I work for the promotion, and I'm the employee. Let's get it done. I'm the champion. I'm gonna get paid either way, no matter who I fight. I technically rather fight this guy again because I already know what he's doing and it's already predictable. If I fight Ali or Valley Morad or whoever else next, then it might be a more difficult fight. So in all technicality, I'd rather already fight someone I've beaten once, but I personally don't believe a rematch should be in favor for Nkosi just because it was a close fight.
Hmm. Fair play. Oh, we see it again. One thing I do want to touch base and his teammate Mr. E did touch base on it, and I want to ask you about it. Is when you did get him down, when you did wrestle him down, you did get him down a couple of times in the fight. I remember, I think the end of the third round you had him down, and somewhere in the fourth round you had him down as well. He was able to, which was to a lot of people's surprise, he was able to get out of your attacks when you had him on the floor. Were
Mhm.
you quite surprised that yourself how sort of slippery he was?
Not really. I knew he was gonna be, very defensive on the ground. I knew he was gonna be smart. I know one of the times, I think it was the third round, I had his back. He was sitting on his butt, and
Yeah,
I'm just kind of like, let go of my hands. Like I know what you're doing, but you're also losing because you're sitting here. You're not. You're playing the smart defensive guy, but you're not trying to what's the phrase, you're not trying to get choked out, but this round you're going to lose, if that makes sense. Like you're not trying to win the round, but you're also not going to get choked out. So it's like that happy medium. And he was smart of going, you know what, I have to sacrifice this round because if I move, then he's going to choke me out, or if I move, he's going to do this. But then also he's very, very long for bantamweight. Not
yeah.
many bantamweights are built like that. When I was at Extreme Couture training for him, you know I had to train with nothing but featherweights and lightweights because no one else is his height and his length. And now I'm, taking more of a beating because I'm facing really, really big guys. Given he was a welterweight during our fight. He weighed 170 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilo and stone, but he was 170 pounds as a welterweight, excuse me, as a bantamweight going in there. I only weighed 70 kg, 155 pounds. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what you did in those 24 hours, but good job. That is awesome. So please let me know because I need to figure this out. But he was very big, he was very long, and he was very smart. He knew what he needed to do to survive, and technically he did that. So I can't say anything bad, but I think I can say bad stuff about me is that I was just too nice and I should have just been, a jerk, and I should have just done what I needed to do to get the job done. There was no ground and pound. I was focused on jujitsu. I didn't want to do certain things. In my head, I was like, oh, dude, you should have just broke that arm, but I'm just not that guy. But if I do have to fight him again, it has to be one of those that solidifies a statement that there is no mercy. I'm a dominant champion, and that first fight was the first fight. The second fight shows how good I really am.
Good. I'm going to touch base on something. You've mentioned it two or three times now that you're a nice guy,
Mhm.
right? And a lot of people said that to me when I was boxing. You're a nice guy, And to try and combat that, they got me a sports psychologist to try and bring that mean side out of your mind. Have you ever employed anything like that in your mind to turn that switch on when you're in the ring? Have you ever
Um,
anything like that?
so I've had
It's just an interesting question.
Yeah, no, I've had sports psychologists and I've had people, especially when I went through a real bad like mental health phase. I had one really good guy that helped me out a lot. And with that, I have no problem with it whatsoever. Like I do enjoy it. And I know during the fight I had goals in mind and I was like, you know what, let's just enjoy this fight instead of, trying to implement these goals.
Mm.
But I was telling my friend, my father was a very, very aggressive person growing up, and he really showed no mercy towards us as kids. So with that, it's like I was very, very opposite of my father, and I think that's why I become so gentle-hearted growing up that I was just like, I just don't want to be like that because I know what the pain that it causes. But I'm also in the fight business, so I can't complain about it. If I'm not gonna hurt someone, what's someone gonna try to do to me? They're not gonna be gentle. They're gonna try to hurt me. Hell, technically, I went to the hospital after. Even though I was perfectly fine, I have to go get, stitched up because I'm bleeding. Or, even in practice, I had to get stitched up because, I take it, even though it was accidental, I take a bad strike because I'm not as aggressive as I want to be. I always say I'm on the wrong sport. I'm just really good at what I do. So for me, it's the fact of, I want to accomplish everything I want to accomplish as much as I can. Or let me rephrase that. I want to accomplish as much as I can before my career is over because my job for sure is definitely going to be better as a coach.
Yeah, I can see that in you. I can see you definitely in a coach. But one thing I want to say about the fight, last thing about the fight as well, and I want to say I was very impressed with the respect that you and Nkosi had before the fight and after the fight. That is something that you don't see much in combat sports, and it's very good to see that respect between the two fighters. Where does that respect stem from?
Well, pleasure. Well, I mean, I think for both of us and him definitely harder is that we had very tough upbringings. And the fact of it's kind of like the backstory of a hero and a villain. They have the same backstory, but it just depends on how you take it. You go, oh, this pain happened to me, then everyone deserves to feel this pain too because I shouldn't be alone. Or this pain happened to me. I never want someone to feel this type of pain again. And I think both Nkosi and I have kind of implemented that hero mentality of like, we know the struggle of coming up. And so we cherish everything because I think for both of us, especially for me, we never expected to make it this far in our career. So we appreciate everything and we admire everything. And we know the sacrifices it takes to even make it this far in our sport and so much higher. So it's like to get to this point and then also see someone that respects you as well. It's like, thank you. And I mean, you look at any fight, whether it's any other promotion, all the bad publicity and people fighting and this and that, for weigh-ins and stuff. At the end of the day, you both are technically putting your lives on the line before the fight, during the fight, and even possibly after the fight and recovery to even just make a simple paycheck. So for Nkosi and I, it's the respect of like, hey man, we know we have to do just to get in there. We know we have to do to each other just to be able to get on top and to be on top. And we know the stuff that we're possibly going to have to face after the fight to recover to get back in there. So, we just appreciate each other. And I think, I'm really good friends with Nkosi's manager. So I think that also helped kind of a brotherhood. But in general, man, we're all athletes at the end of the day. It's like playing football or soccer or rugby or whatever sport. It just so happens that win or lose in our sport, we have to beat each other up to do so. It's not just, a football game and the next week there's another football game. It's like, no, this one is like, hey, I get beat up because of the beating I just took. I possibly can't fight for another year and a half, or even my career's over. And so it's a very, very different thing. So for me, I show a lot of respect and I show a lot of I guess I wouldn't even say mercy, but just again that moral mutual respect of like, hey man, I know what we have to do to get in here, and I think he does the same. And it was awesome. That's why I understand people talking about a controversy to make it, if they ever were to do a rematch of like, we got to do this and do that. And at least for me, I can't say for Nkosi, but I'm pretty sure he would be the same of just like, all right, cool. Let's do it again. It was an awesome fight. And let's just, keep on going from there and let's see where it goes.
Did you speak to him after the fight?
Very, in the cage, but that was about it.
Oh, just
I didn't get a chance to go back to the hotel. I had to go to the hospital. So
oh, okay, that's fair. You mentioned a few times about your dad,
Mhm.
and I saw on your Instagram you went to you went to his grave and you showed your dad the belt that you've won. What does that mean to you?
It's a big thing because my father always we used to watch like Mike Tyson all the time in the 90s, early 2000s, and he was always like, you got to be like Mike Tyson. You got to do this. And my dad, he's the one that taught me how to fight. He's the one that, generally, and he's the one that taught me how to do a lot of film breakdown because we used to watch boxing fights on the local cable, channels and just random people. And he's like, all right, who's winning? All right, why is this person winning the round? What's the other person have to do to start winning? And he would make me break down fights. And so that's why I become a little bit of like a mad scientist when I'm breaking. Like I help a lot of fighters when it comes to film breakdown. I'm like, oh, you're gonna fight this guy? Send me his film. I'll start doing some stuff for you, and I got you. Like I'm more than happy to help. And so when it came to that, just fighting was always a part of my life, whether I wanted it to be or not. And so I always learned how to help people. I always learned how to break things down. I always learned how to fight and defend myself and stay tough. So when I signed with Brave, I remember having my first fight with Brave was with Amir Albazi. And he was like, "Man, why didn't you finish him this, that?" I was like, I was in the best mental space. I really wasn't excited to fight Amir. I wasn't taking him seriously because I dropped him 3 times in the first round, and then I kind of just was like, "Ah, whatever, get up, let's go." And you can tell I was very lackadaisical in that fight. And then I win by 2-1 rounds, and I'm just like, I should have just finished them. Again, those always like woulda, shoulda, couldas. I remember my dad kind of like not heckling me, but he's like, "Hey man, just be serious, be this. You can be champion as a promotion too." And so after I was gonna fight Marcel Dur for the belt, he passed away. I was like, "Oh damn, there's my chance to fight for the belt," because I tried to force myself in there, didn't give myself some grieving time, and then I couldn't fight. So I had to pull out of that fight. And then I was gonna fight Ali Bagutinov, got hurt, couldn't make the weight. And then I'm out of this flyweight tournament. So there's a second chance for the belt. I'm out of that fight. And then this Nkosi fight being canceled twice and then now happening the third time and then winning the way I did, it's almost like a Disney movie. It's like, oh my gosh, this is finally it's happened. And then when I got the belt, the first thing was after this military tour, because I'm not going to have any time, I was like, let me go home and show my family the belt. It's not for me. I don't care about the belt. Like I'm happy I have it. It's in my trunk right now. That's how I treat my belts. A lot of them are in my trunk because people want to see them. And then I was like, man, I need to visit my father. That's usually the first thing I do when I get back. And I visited my father. I had a little venting session as usual. And the first thing I did was bring him the belt. I was like, hey, Dad, look what I got. Also, I have purple hair. Hope you're not mad. And I was just like, it's different because this is what he expected. It wasn't, it was, I'm trying to think of the proper way to say it. My dad never assumed that one day I might fight for the belt. He goes, "You're gonna fight for the belt and you're gonna win the belt. It's just a matter of when." That was my dad's belief in me. He always thought naturally I was the best in the world. No matter if I was 3 years old or 31 years old now, he always mentally thought I'm the best kid in the world and I'm gonna fight the best and I'm gonna beat the best. Or if not, I'm gonna be phenomenal doing it and people are gonna remember me. That's his mindset. I was gonna be the next Mike Tyson. So he's like, hey man, like I want to see all your accomplishments and rewards. And so, I got the belt, and the first thing I did was bring it to him.
Amazing, man. Amazing. How about your mum? In the 3 hours that you saw your mum, what did your mum say about the belt?
Well, she was happy. The crazy thing is I got home 1 in the morning, midnight. So I left the belt on top of the table, and then she was asleep already. So I went downstairs, fell asleep, and woke up in the morning. And she's like, "Hey, congratulations!" And I had breakfast made for me. I was like, "Mom, it's your birthday. Don't cook for me." So but a mother being a mother, she wants to take care of her child, and she knows I was beat up. She knows I just got sutures, and and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna go on a military tour." I had a big hug. She's happy for me, and I was like, "All right, Mom, gotta go." And my mother and I's relationship's a little different. Even though I'm a mama's boy, and she took care of me the most, and did everything with me and for me. She taught me to be very, very independent. I've been I know single for about 3 plus years, but then also I've been traveling since I was 16 years old. So naturally I've done stuff alone and I've gotten very comfortable and very used to it. But she was also the one to teach me you need to be independent. You need to eventually start doing this. Like I'm gonna teach you how to fly, and then you need to go, And so for me, I've always been naturally independent. So I think when I have conversations with my mother, it's very business like. And then it's like, Okay, I love you, and here's a hug. I gotta go. It's almost, I wouldn't say it's weird, but it's just different. It's very awkward. My father and I were very emotional. It was like hugging and loving. My mother and I were like, "Oh, well, pleasure. Nice to see you. I hope you have a good time. Enjoy your trip, and I'll see you at 8 o'clock." And it's like, "Oh yeah, I'll be on the schedule and everything." So, um, it was nice, but it's also nice to be home. So I still haven't seen my brother yet. He's been working. I've been busy doing everything, and I'm just trying to live a little bit of a social life while I'm back home while I still can before I get back to it again.
Yeah, man. So you're looking to get out at the end of the year?
I'm hoping.
And if it's not Nkosi, there's potentially a fight on the 7th of September. That you could potentially fight. We got Ali. You're gonna excuse the names, but Ali Gurev. Have I said that right?
Okay.
I've done that a good job. And then Borislav Nikolov.
Okay.
So that
I've
those guys are fighting at bantamweight.
no clue. I just fight him. I just fight him. That's it.
Just fight them. Well,
Yeah.
Nikolov, Ali 7-0.
Hmm.
Coming up, potentially could be in line to fight yourself. There's talk of him fighting yourself if he gets through this fight. Um, have you heard of him? Have you seen him fight before? Do you know much about him?
Not that I know of. Obviously because you're telling me this, I definitely want to check out. And I was gonna check out the Brave card in France anyways. It's a history making card. I'm
Yeah.
excited for it. But now if being a champion, I have to watch these guys coming up. I have
You
to pay
coming
attention.
France? Are you going
Excuse me?
France?
I wish I would love to come to France, but for me, I was like, if Brave pays for me to go, I would love to go. So, Brave, if you're watching this, I want to go to France. But I'll do a face off in the cage. Let's do it. But with that being said, if I wanted to fight at the end of the year, these guys would have to be healthy, and so more than likely, it's gonna have to be one of the guys like Nkosi or Valley Morad who fought, I believe, in July, early July. So it's like it would have to be probably one of those guys, unless the guys in France are healthy and they want to get back to it right away. Then let's do it.
So you'd be more than happy to up for that fight as well.
My goal is to fight at the end of the year, and if somebody's in front of me, then that's the person I'm fighting. For me, my job is a fight, and especially as champion, I shouldn't have the privilege to pick who I fight next.
Hmm.
I should have the privilege to fight the number one guy.
There you go. Love that attitude, Jose. Love that. I got to ask you as well. I got to ask the connection. I see in the back, I see Spider Man. I see Bruce Lee. I see Muhammad Ali. It's all great influences. But then I see OnlyFans t-shirts. What is going
Mhm.
on, man? What is going on?
I'm a sponsored athlete for OnlyFans, man.
Oh yeah, I really.
Yeah, I'm a sponsor. So, the biggest thing with OnlyFans is, so obviously they have their bad side, which everyone knows them for, like OnlyFans. Oh my god, But the thing was, OnlyFans started because, for example, myself, I used to have a YouTube, and I technically still do, but you need to have 1,000+ subscribers to start making some money. Now, I could have 1 million views on videos, but if I don't have 1,000 subscribers, it doesn't matter. I will not get money out of it. And I have some videos that have 500,000 views, and then I only have like 700 subscribers, and I'm like, man, I'm spending all this time and money to make these videos, and nothing's coming of it because no one wants to subscribe. Now, OnlyFans decided, you know what? Let's make a separate platform for these YouTube subscribers, saying like, hey, if you want more exclusive content from my channel, subscribe to here, and you'll get exclusive content. You can still watch my YouTube, but here's exclusive content of whatever my streaming platform is about. For me, my stuff on my OnlyFans is mental health videos, technique videos, so technique breakdowns, part of my training camp and what I do in my training camp, and then also food vlogging of like what I eat during my training camp and how I'm cutting so much weight. And so I do that. So for me, I went from YouTube to go on OnlyFans to do that. And my thing is 100% free because they sponsor me not just my fight, but to be on there for the year, because they wanted to bring back, go, hey, this isn't a pornographic site. This isn't just nude stuff that they models and especially pornographic models found a loophole in the system. They're like, wait. We can make money on OnlyFans and don't have to do this in a strip club or do this whatever. I can make bank from all these people just doing this at home. Then yeah, I'm going to OnlyFans, and it took over OnlyFans, and that's great. But now the company's made so much money that they go, you know what? No. We want to bring this back to why we started it. These people can still do what they do, but we want to bring it back to why it started, and that's to help YouTube subscribers and all that stuff, or YouTube creators like myself and so many other people. So it doesn't matter if you are this, myself being a fighter, or you're a rock climber, or you're just a natural vlogger. So it's technically made for exclusive content, and all my content is 100% free.
Amazing. Well, when you come to the UK, man, we should do a training video together.
Dude, I've been trying. That's actually one of the places I've been wanting to go to. One of my best friends. I don't know what part. I know he's from London. I just don't know what part he's from. Cameron Else. He has his own promotion out there. And I've been wanting to see him again. I know he's from there. He lives there, and that's just a place I've always wanted to go to. I've always done what was it, Heathrow Airport, layovers and stuff, but I've never been there to actually enjoy that.
Calm down, man. You got so much good talent here for MMA. It's growing market here in the UK, right? So I'm
Yeah.
sure there'll be some trainer. You can train some fighters down here. We can
Yeah.
do a boxing session, man.
Yeah, I want to do that. I want to get into a session of fisticuffs out there. Maybe get into a knife fight since you guys don't allow guns. And we see, we'll see. We'll just have some fun. I'm from Chirac, Chicago, where there's guns everywhere.
Oh
So,
man, that's crazy place, right? Chicago.
well,
Crazy.
it's the bad part is it's kids with guns, and kids are very prideful. We're egotistical. So when you call one kid a bad name, he's like, "What'd you call me?" And they just pull out the gun. It's like, no. So it's a lot of dumb stuff.
It'd be crazy, man. It'd be crazy. Right. Jose Shorty, thank you very much for coming on. Is there anything else that you want to say before we go?
No, man. I know I'm starting to pick up my TikTok a little bit. I believe it's Shorty Torres MMA, if not Jose Shorty Torres as well. The reason why is because I've been traveling the world a lot, and I've been doing a lot of my Instagram stories and just saving them and making them into a vlog,
Yeah.
and putting them on my TikTok so people can see more than just one time. And I just started it this week, so I'm really excited. I've been to the one I just posted this week was in Tequila, Mexico. The next week I'm posting is from Serbia. When I was in Serbia, the next week, and these are different adventures. Like I'm either jogging around the neighborhood and hopefully not dying. Like the one in Serbia, I went jogging and I got attacked by a dog. And I'm just like, oh my god, and I'm like filming this at the same time. I'm like, I'm doing it for the gram, So I was like, if I die, it's gonna be on film. And like went to Honduras, went to Greenland. I did cliff diving in Honduras. I went ATVing in Greenland where you see the cliff and you can't even see because there's so much fog. You're like, let me throw this rock and see how far it goes. And then you're just waiting for the sound and you never hear it. Like there's a lot of cool things that I've been doing. So I'm just trying to spread that out a little more. And then just anyone who wants to help support my foundation, my website page is teamshorty.com/foundation, and 100% of the proceeds out of my foundation go to kids, teens, and young adults, not just in my neighborhood but around the world, to help these athletes stay inside the gym and off the streets. And one of the kids that I sponsor, Edgar Torres, fought in the Brave card. He was, I believe, only 1-1, and I got him as one of the first. He was the second fight of the night for Brave, for LFC. And he won his Brave debut, or LFC debut, should I say. And it just gave him a different opportunity. And for him, he's never been international, never traveled the world, so I was able to do that for him with the money from the foundation. I was very happy about that. So I'm just trying to help change different lives and give different opportunities like I was given when I was a kid.
And how about your YouTube? What's your YouTube name so people can check that out as well?
For YouTube, I'm bringing everything over to OnlyFans, so I'm not even going to share that anytime soon.
Oh, okay, bring it all to OnlyFans. Okay.
Yeah, so and then my Instagram, Jose Shorty Torres. If people have questions, for sure on Sundays, I do a Sunday question day where literally people can ask me anything, and I just pretty much go full out for the minute that it allows me to.
Top man. Joseph Shorty Torres, thank you very much for your time, brother. Really appreciate you taking the time out doing this before you go on your travels again, man.
My pleasure, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and I can't wait until next time.
Can't wait till next time. Thank you guys for listening, guys, and check out for the next one. Thank you.